Hey, it's Desure. I'm here hanging out with Rob at Front Row Live.
I just heard your EP for the very first time, and I know it's a brand new EP, but I'm kind of stuck on it to the fact that I turned the corner, blasting Los Angeles, and he's standing right there. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Yeah.
Talk to me about creating this debut EP, because I feel like you nailed it with every track that's on there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This EP means a lot to me. Over the last couple of years, I've been writing these songs, and it has a lot to do with like the loss of really close friends, to just partying in LA and the shit that me and my friends get into, and that comes across a lot in the music. And yeah, it's just brutal honesty. Yeah.
How difficult is it to get so brutally honest on a track like that, especially when you're like dabbling music for the very first time to like new listeners?
For me, it's therapy, like through and through. If I don't write like for a couple of days, I feel weird. I get in my head. So it is just like me blurting out, just like I have to get this off my chest.
Right.
So that's easy for me, and I like to share. Like if you know me, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like I don't hide anything, and so that definitely comes across in my music. Yeah.
Now, talk to me about the creative process with this record. Like when you went into the studio, did you work with a specific producer, or is this something you did on your own?
Yeah, Robbie Crowell, he plays drums with Midland.
Okay.
And that's how I met him. And me and him, we loved all the same kind of music and references, and so we'll always constantly send each other music and be like, check this out. Like you got to check out this, synth part in this song or whatever, this drum part, and like, so me and him would just go back and forth. And after a while, he's like, let me take a stab at these songs. He's like, I really think I can do well producing these. And I was like, yeah. I was like, and he has really good access to studios in Nashville and a lot of good friends that he plays with and stuff. So I got to have amazing players on the album. He was an amazing producer, easy to work with. He listened to my needs, and and I took in his suggestions as well. And we work super well together.
Now, when you started working with him or when he insisted working with him on it, were you already in the mindset of creating an EP, or you were just dabbling with music at the time?
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of messed with music. It's always just something that we've done, me and my friends growing up. And I've recorded here and there stuff, but I've never like fell in love with it. I've always just been like, that's just one of my songs, and I'd never liked the production. And then working with him, I started to actually like fall in love with music and my songs and appreciating the process. And it was the first time that I heard my songs and I was like, I would listen to this. Like I like it. Yeah. So that's the first time ever that's happened with me. So super excited that this is finally out and people can check it out.
Sick. Now, what is it about the sound that is you? Why does this define who you are as an artist?
I guess it defines me because it crosses, I think, a lot of different boundaries. Like it's not, I have influences of country, of Americana, whatever you want to call it, rock and roll, 80s production. Like there's a lot of like weird synth stuff in there that I threw in, and that just comes from everything that I love and all the influences that I listen to. And it's like a lot of 80s music, a lot of 70s music and 60s, and I wanted to bring all that out in this EP. And it wasn't just like, here's a straight up country album or here's a straight up, straightforward rock and roll album. I wanted all the different influences that have influenced me to make these songs.
Now, how do you piece them all together to create the sound that you did? Because I feel like that's complicated in itself.
Yeah, I think that kind of came naturally. In the studio, we kind of messed around with like, let's try this drum part or like drum fill or whatever with this or I want to use a Rhodes on this, or it was a process of just trying it. And that's why it's cool to work with Robbie, because it's so free in the studio that we can just sit and try things. And if it's like, this isn't working, it's like, all right, let's toss it out and let's try something new. And so I think it was just like, the process of going through it and process of elimination and trying different things, and things didn't work. And if they did, and this is what we came up with.
Now, tell me a little bit about Los Angeles, because that's the song that first, struck a nerve for me. And I actually posted about it this morning because I was like, these lyrics cannot be any more real. Like, Los Angeles, you're killing me. I can't live off of 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So it's like, something so simple like that can like hit someone so heavy. Like, what was it like creating that song? Like, what kind of inspired it?
It's kind of heavy. 2016, I lost a really close friend of mine, and in a motorcycle accident, and it hit me really hard. I had played one of my, like, his favorite song of mine at his funeral, and it was, me and him were really close, and he always pushed me to make music, and he always inspired me, and the song has a lot to do with him, and it also has a lot to do with the reaction and how everyone reacted, I guess, to it, and that we just kept partying and nothing ever stopped. It wouldn't. It was kind of like avalanche of like just craziness, and it was hectic at that time, and everyone was just partying a lot, and I sort of just like woke up and had a realization like I need to get the fuck out of LA, and or else like something bad's gonna happen, and we were just like destructive and crazy, and it was nonstop. It was every day, getting into shit, and I just had to, pretty much like, wake up, and I had a realization, and that's when I got a phone call from Midland asking if I wanted to come out and tour manage.
Wow.
And so it was like perfect timing, and I packed my bags that day. I packed my entire car up, and I left for Texas. So I lived in Texas for a little while. We left like, I think the next day after I arrived in Texas, so all my shit was still in my car, just like baking in the sun. And then we like hopped on the bus and we took off, like the next day.
Damn.
Yeah.
So this Midland situation, did you already have like connection with the guys before, or is it just something that just happened out of nowhere?
I've known them for like 15 years or so,
wow, okay.
And all separately, which is crazy. Like I've known Jess for a really long. I've probably known him the longest, just through music and playing together, growing up. And Cameron, I've known for a long time. I knew his wife growing up. Her little brother were the same age, and so like we went to school together growing up.
All a family.
Huge family, yeah, it is. It's a family affair. Like when we play together, I come up on stage and sing with them, and it is like a family affair. And I wouldn't. It's the coolest thing in the world touring with them. Like it's the coolest thing because we're all brothers, and it's like it's just friends on the road. It's really cool. So working with them and now getting to tour with them, it's like it's a dream come true.
So in a sense, they kind of put you out on the stage for the first time. Like, what was that experience like for you? And did you imagine to ever be on a stage like that? And so last minute, like.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing music, but like not to that capacity.
Yeah.
And now I'm playing in front of sold out shows that are between like 2,000 and 6,000 people, which is crazy. And like
on a debut EP.
It's insane. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, and it's a built-in audience that's there. They get there early. They want to see me because they know that like Midland shows me so much love that like then in turn their fans love me, and so they come early and they check out the show, and it's like such a cool reaction to see, and it's I can't believe it still.
Right.
Yeah.
And with your experience tour managing for the guys, like how did that kind of influence you in your live shows and in your mindset when you go on tour and you prep for tour?
It definitely helped. I mean, it showed me what not to do a lot because I fucked up like over and over and over, and I was okay at it, but definitely taught me like now I can route a tour, and I can figure out what flights we need to get to this place on time, that we have to drive to this, but like just all the routing and like all the logistics. That's like a huge part of touring, which is like the most boring shit, but you have to figure it out. And so that I can wrap my head around now. Yeah. Before I would just like get anxiety and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I just want to play music. But now I'm comfortable with it, and like, yeah.
So the idea of going on tour for your music or traveling for your music like doesn't really stress you out anymore.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely still stressful. It's the worst. But other than like playing music on stage, touring is the worst thing in the world. You're just stuck in like a small van with a bunch of smelly dudes, and yeah,
it's not the dream that everybody sees.
Yeah, one person's hungry, one person has to shit, one person has to like, it's like
That's the life, man. The life we choose, right? So back to the debut EP. I noticed that you are on Tuxedo Records. What is the involvement with Tuxedo Records with you?
So Tuxedo and Mega, it's like sort of split. It's Midland, and it's through my management as well. and so they're helping me put out my stuff in the meantime as I'm moving forward to potentially, look for a bigger record label or maybe an indie label or something else. But yeah, for now it's coming out on Tuxedo and Mega. Yeah.
Nice. Now, what was the biggest challenge in creating this EP?
I think actually getting everything prepared, I guess, in the studio, all the players, and getting us all in one room together and figure out, because everyone has such hectic schedules.
Yeah.
Robbie's constantly touring, or he's in other sessions, or he's never not working. And same with the other guys, Little Joe and Ratford and Parker, and Creative Workshop, trying to find out a time when we can all get in there. And so that's always a challenge, is like you have to lock down 6 to 8 dudes that are in a time that they're not doing anything, and especially like Nashville players, it's like really rare. And so that's pretty much the only thing, but other than that, it's fun. I love it. Yeah.
Do you feel that once you got them all into the same room together and you guys started to record and work on this EP, do you feel like some of the lyrics or some of the songs kind of got restructured?
Yeah, some of it, yeah. We would change things up a little bit. For the most part, everything's pretty much the same as I wrote. I write everything on acoustic guitar, and so for me, it's way different for my first time really playing it. Going to a studio and being like, okay, there's going to be an electric, or we're just going to use like piano for this part, or just do like, there's going to be a synth part here, or there's going to be, different drum fill or something. And so it's cool to see that process as well, like how things kind of evolve. And it's like, oh, let's move the bridge over here, or like, it's cool to try different things. And like, that's also what I like, is that you get a new ear on it, that I'm hearing it the same over and over and over, but then someone else can hear it and they're like, well, what if we try this? And I'm like, oh shit, I would never think of that. Right. So it's cool. Like I love that process.
That's sick. Well, congratulations with the debut EP. I have not been as excited listening to like Americana, like folk music, since like Chuck Reagan back, like a few years back. For those that are not familiar, he's from Hot Water Music as well. But yeah, listening to this, it's like I feel like there's been artists that have tried to do it and they just haven't succeeded. So I feel like this was such a natural process, and I'm super excited to see what the future holds for you. What else are the plans now that this EP's out? I know you're on tour right now, but what else is going on for 2019?
I'm having a baby. That's probably my
Congrats.
biggest plan of all.
Man.
Yeah, that's probably the number one. And yeah, touring and just recording a lot more. We're doing another EP, and then at the end of the year, hopefully a full length. And
quick.
yeah, and we got a bunch of other stuff that we've already had recorded that we'll be putting out pretty soon too.